What is up, everyone? I'm Skratch. Welcome to the channel. This is another King Arthur Legends Rise video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I was away for a few days, guys. That's why I actually haven't posted much on the channel, but we're back at it. In today's video, we're going to talk about the top 10 best legendary heroes in King Arthur Legends Rise. The power creep is pretty real in the game as well, because my top 10 really changed quite a bit for the last couple of months or so. More or less, yeah, a couple of months. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys my top 10 based off pretty much all of the content. So we're going to talk about dungeons, forbidden dungeon, PvP, pretty much every single game mode. And that's how I'm basically going to give you my top 10. Now, before we get to that, I just want to give a massive shout out to all of you guys that are supporting my channel through the supporter creator program. They've actually started a brand new season. So if you guys were supporting my channel before, you have to basically come back at it and click support once again so you can start earning free rewards. You guys know the drill. We've been talking about it on the channel for quite a while. Every couple of months or so, they start a brand new season where they basically disconnect all of you guys that are supporting the channel, and we have to restart this again. So if you guys want to help and support the channel, if you want to put your hand on free rewards, make sure you guys click on that support. I will leave the link in the pinned comment and in the description down below. But let's dive into something a bit more interesting. What are the best legendaries in King Arthur Legends Rise? At the moment, I feel like we have something like 20, if I'm not mistaken. So every few weeks, they are bringing in a new hero. I wish they would bring in some more rare heroes as well, to be honest with you guys. But at least we are getting some legendaries. And the last few of them, they have been really freaking strong. And yes, I managed to get pretty much most of them. I've got Irat a few days ago when they actually introduced the new rate up banner. And yesterday, for my surprise, I got Gilroy. Now, if you guys remember, I was asking you, guys, any of you got any of the new legendary heroes from a guaranteed summoning ticket where you're getting directly a legendary? Because I wasn't sure if they added them to the drop rates, but they did. I got Gilroy from one of them. So now I know, basically. Now, I'm not really going to rank them in a specific order, guys, because everything's really situational. It depends where you are planning to use them. Now, if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments down below. And of course, bring in an argument and say why do you think that those heroes are better or why you think they're not as good. So, starting with the very first legendary hero that I have on the list, Sergius, a free legendary that you can purchase by playing Arena. He is very unique, guys, because no other hero will give you so much attack gauge on your entire team. The best relic for him, in my opinion, is the Fire Relic. You can purchase that one directly from the clan shop, again, for free by just playing the game. And it has this A3 skill, 100% chance to charge the attack gauge of each ally by 60%, guys, which is just so freaking massive. It's absolutely insane. You can overlap the enemies over and over and over and over again. In some fights, they will never take a turn. So in my opinion, he's really powerful in the Forbidden Dungeon, in PvP, in some of the dungeons, even in clan raids. Pretty much everywhere, right? He's a really strong hero just because of it. Now, of course, his other skills are not bad. The focus target is pretty decent as well. It's something that I'm not really using. I always try to basically go for the A3. If I don't have enough vigor, I'm gonna move on to the A1. But that's about it. The other relics are decent, but the main one is the fire one. That's what you want to basically invest in. Talking about his actual skills, whenever an ally is hit, he counterattacks or attacks the attacker with a chance to inflict focus target. Then 100 chance to inflict attack speed decrease on the attacker for one turn, which once again is really helpful in most of the content. The second passive skill, when attacking while the target has focus target, 100% chance to gain amplification and to charge the attack gauge by 50%, which once again is massive. Amplification will further increase the vigor. And the third passive, When using a skill, 100% chance to recover Vigor +2, and 100% chance to grant each ally attack speed increase to for 1 turn. Pretty solid passive as well. As I was mentioning, he is a very, very effective unit. He is a support unit, this one, so it's not really a damage dealer or anything like that. Best build, you want to have as much speed as possible, and if you want him to land the debuffs, of course, effect accuracy, that would be really, really helpful. Moving on to the next one. This used to be probably top 3 best legendaries in the game. I feel like, at least for my account, he dropped a lot. I'm almost barely using him nowadays, okay? And that is Merlin. I know a lot of you guys will disagree with me and will be like, Skratch, are you crazy? Merlin is so freaking damn OP. I am not saying he's not strong, but at least on my account, I just feel like I'm not really using him in any of the dungeons. I barely use him sometimes in the Forbidden Dungeon, right? And yeah, that's about it. For PvP, he's still solid because he brings in a lot of crowd control. You have an AoE freeze. You have the Frozen Remains, which is really helpful with a passive freeze on the A1. Now, relic-wise, I would love to get a Fire Relic for him. He does bring attack gauge disruption. He brings in a lot of good things for the team. Phoenix's Ashes, stun on the A1. The passives are doing quite a bit. So when using skill 2 while current HP is 50% or higher, 100% chance to change the weather today, 100% chance to charge 5 vigor, 100% chance to remove debuff, dot, or abnormal status from each ally. So that is really, really helpful, especially once you have him at Chivalry 8. Then you have the second passive when using the skill 3, 100% chance to grant defense increase, and 100% chance to grant recovery over time, which once again is definitely not a bad passive skill. And this one revives. This is actually pretty interesting because we don't really have revivers in this game, to be honest. He's kind of like the main reviver in the game. So it's pretty nice, but it's conditional when he's at 30% HP or lower. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But it's good to have that revive in here. And he can be very effective in some of the dungeons, especially because of the second skill, right? Which will bring you the Frozen Remains, which will cleanse the dot damage. So good versus the Gorgos. Good versus other dungeons as well. A lot of people are still using him, to be honest. But it might be the fact that I've accumulated most of the legendaries, which kind of like made me see their value a bit better in a way or another, because I get to play most of them, right? And that allows me to see, okay, I have all of these heroes. Am I using this one over the other one? No, because the other one is better, right? So I feel like Merlin dropped quite a bit on my account for quite a few months now. Then the next one on the list is Irat. Absolutely insane as a damage dealer. I know a lot of creators used to shit on her, pardon my French, when they released her, saying that she's a trash champion, she sucks, she doesn't do damage, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what they were smoking, but she is absolutely freaking amazing. Very good damage. You have the Frost Relic, the Fire Relic, which is good. I haven't really looked much into the Storm Relic, but to be honest, that can be pretty nice as well. I feel like it's the weakest out of the 3 of them. So you start with the Frost Relic. Very good single target damage. Additional damage if the target has mark as well. There are a lot of clanmates of mine that are using like 1-2 shot strategies on some of the bosses. You know, you just go in with Bedivere and Irat and you're just demolishing the bosses. So I'm looking forward to get some Chivalry on her, because at the moment she's on Chivalry 0 for me. But once I'm going to get her to Chivalry 8, I'm definitely going to start looking into doing some more funky things. So everybody was focused on Mark, right? Well, she has the Mark. The Mark is pretty useless. You don't really need to care so much about the Mark, to be honest. It's all about the damage, the self-buff, the buffs that she brings in. The passive skills are really good as well. A chance to grant each Serpent favorite crit rate for 2 turns. Effect accuracy for 2 turns. Then you have the second one. After using a skill, gains Black Magic Rat for 3 turns, which will increase some of the stats. You have increased attack gauge by 50%. And you have the third passive, When attacking while you have black magic, you have a chance to charge the attack gauge, and of course, chance to gain prepare black magic annihilation. Very solid damage dealer. I'm super happy that I've got her because I've been looking forward to put my hand on her. Very effective in the new dungeon as well, especially with the new relic. Then, moving on to the next one, guys. Gillian. She used to be the best healer in the game. I'm not using her as much. I am using her in some of the content. I'm using her in clan raids. She's still a very solid one with the Frost Relic. But she got a bit power crap by Nika, right? But we're going to get to Nika in a little bit. So the best relic for her, without a doubt, the Frost Relic. Having the ability to do an AoE heal can be massive. She's still very good at increasing the attack gauge and decreasing the attack gauge on the enemies. You know, I'm not really using the A3 like ever, no matter what relic I'm running on her. So, a good healer. Very good passives as well, especially, as I was mentioning, increasing the attack gauge on your heroes. The abnormal status immunity that you're getting with the healing as well, which is really, really good. And overall, yeah, super strong. Now, most of these heroes that are not damage dealers, guys, you're going to want to build them on Vigor set. It's pretty much the same story for Gillian. A good Vigor set, a decent amount of speed, some effect accuracy, recovery, and bang. You've got yourself a solid build, you know. The Fire Relic is the standard one. Is decent, but she's not really providing that much healing. And to be honest, it's just not worth using her over other healers if you're just running the fire one. In some cases, it's great, don't get me wrong, but as a healer only, it's gonna be really hard to sustain your team just with that, you know. Moving on to the next one, guys. We actually have Aine on the list. Super good legendary as well. I feel like out of all of the designs, she is one of my most favorite ones. She looks so badass. Now, relic-wise, I feel like it depends what you're planning to do with her, right? So with the Fire Relic, you can actually do a lot of cleansing, which is good. Abnormal status immunity. But the Frost Relic will give you dot immunity. It will give you attack increase. It will give you increased defense, effect resistance, dot immunity. So all of these are really good, especially when you're trying to do some one-shot strategies, because she buffs. Right, you're gonna get to do a lot of extra damage because of it. So that's something to keep in mind. Very good passives as well. She's not really doing a lot of damage. Some people, they do tend to give her a bit of damage, to be honest. But I feel like it's not necessarily the craziest thing. What I do love about her is this passive. So 100% chance to grant each ally counter-attack trigger rate increase for 2 turns. And to grant each ally critical strike damage increase for 1 turn. Really good. And that's when using skill 2, when you're putting that increased attack. So it will really help your damage dealers a lot. That's how you're basically able to do some crazy one-shot strats. And this is really good as well, because when an ally is hit, there's a chance to trigger increase the duration of each ally buff, and a chance to remove a debuff from each ally. My favorite relic on her is the Frost one, to be honest with you guys. The Storm one, it basically gives you debuff immunity and crit rate increase, which is not that great. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it's not as great. So once again, Aine, really solid one. Then moving on to the next one, we have Saris. Probably she is my most favorite character in the game. She just looks pretty badass. Love the tattoo and just the design on her. So she is more of a PvP champion on paper, but to be honest with you guys, she is being used in quite a few PvE dungeons in some of the craziest teams in the entire game. She can do a bit of damage, actually, and she is very unique because she counters Morgan, right? And that is mainly when you get to Chivalry 8, and that instantly procs at the beginning of the battle with the attack gauge decrease immunity, which is massive. You have the attack decrease on the enemies. You have a chance to remove buffs, charges the vigor, reflection state, perseverance, attack decrease once again. She does a lot of things. She's really strong. And once again, some creators were really dumping on her, saying that she's just trash when she actually wasn't. But hey, that's a story for another time. Pretty good passives as well on her. The main thing with her, you kind of like really need her at Chivalry 8 for that attack gauge disruption immunity to be placed on your team, right? But other than that, she's really, really strong, man. Like, as I mentioned, one of my most favorite heroes. She does so freaking much. And you have tons of different options on how to build her. You can build her fast on Vigor. You can try to give her a bit of damage as well. You do need the accuracy on her. The faster, the better, to be honest with you guys. And yeah, the Storm Relic tends to work pretty well. That's the standard one. Not gonna lie, I haven't really looked that much into the other relics on her, but the Storm one seems to be pretty good. Then moving on to the next one, guys, we actually have Bedivere. Bedivere, still the top dog in terms of damage. Frost Relic, the best in my opinion. I do have the Fire one for him. I haven't... actually, I did level that up. I actually... No, I haven't. I'm on the Codex. I was going to say, I haven't leveled up that Relic. What am I talking about? This is not bad either. Single target is on the 8-3 though. And is the bigger hit, right? Which I still prefer going with the Frost one. You get an increased crit rate, you deal the additional damage, and he hits really damn hard, right? Pairing him with the right champions as well, it will enable him to do some crazy things. Very good passives as well, with the random hits. Sometimes annoying, especially when you're going versus stage 100 in the Forbidden Dungeon, because you don't know where that random hit will go. But he is a very strong one. Irat is coming pretty close to Bedivere in terms of damage, to be honest. I don't have my Irat maxed to kind of like compare them and give them the same gear and stuff. But that's something that I might be doing in the future, just to kind of like have an idea of which one of them actually deals more damage. But personally, I lean more towards Bedivere. Maybe some of you guys actually try that out. Let me know in the comments down below. Moving on to the next one. We have Lot as well. Lancelot is great, but I'm not talking about him. Sigrun is great, but she's not in my top 10 anymore. Lot, on the other hand, he is just such a freaking monster. PvP, PvE, especially in the Forbidden Dungeon, guys. I do like the Frost Relic on him as well. So basically, you want to have him the fastest in the team. He's going to buff your team, right? Then, whenever one of your allies will use an AoE skill or something like that, you're going to have a chance to crowd control the enemies. Much better than Merlin, in my opinion, because all of your champions will have a chance to freeze the enemy. Plus, of course, he logs the passives, which is massive. Really, really helpful. Very good passives. He's giving you a lot of vigor as well. And if you want to build him, of course, vigor is still a solid option, or a speed set. You do want to have accuracy on the hero. In my opinion, he's really, really strong as a crowd control unit in all of the content. And a lot of people really slapped on this champion for a long time. Plus, he looks freaking badass. He does look really, really badass. I think I have the fire one for him as well, but it's an AoE Oblivion, which, don't get me wrong, is great. But I prefer to have the A3 from the Frost one. All of my team to have a chance to crowd control, not just him, basically. So I run him super fast, usually to be the fastest in the team. Then, moving on to the final two, guys. Probably you guys guessed them already. I do want to hear your thoughts as well. Which one you think is the best in the game at the moment? I feel like it's pretty hard to knock Morgan out of top 1. So I'm still putting Nika in the second place. Nika is just mind-freaking blowing. Absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing unit. I am running her with the Fire Relic, which is the standard. I don't really have any other ones. So many buffs. So much healing. The Pierce, everything else that comes from her kit, it will take your team to the next level. You're going to farm dungeons faster. You're going to beat tougher stages. You're going to rack PvP. You're going to rack PvE. That's how amazing she is. Not to mention how she charges the vigor is crazy. If you pair her with Serpent's Favor as well, they're going to go even more ham because they're going to get double buffs on. Really, really good hero. Like, right now, I managed to get her to Chivalry 9 without actually pulling any dupes. And I gotta say it, she's like a completely different hero. She's sustaining the team better. I was able to drop some of the attack speed gear on her and get some recovery instead. So she's sustaining the team really well because she heals for a lot with the A3, with the A2. And my surprise, she actually deals quite a bit of damage with this skill. Like, she does ramp up quite a bit of damage, you know? Really, really solid legendary. If they're ever gonna bring up the raid banner for her, definitely try to get her if you don't have her, guys. Save your summons. She's just probably one of the best legendaries they've added since the release. I mean, not probably, the best legendary they've added since the release. Out of all of the boosted rate up summoning banners. And most likely she will be added to the regular pool. I feel like maybe in a week or so, or in 3 weeks. Then, moving on to the last one, Morgan, guys. Morgana, how I like to call her. My favorite relic on her is the Storm Relic, to be honest with you guys, because you have a double hit AoE for defense down, so you can land 2 defense downs on the enemies, which means that I'm gonna get to do crazy damage. You have a crazy AoE with sleep for 2 turns and recovery disruption, which is massive, gives you very good crowd control. And you guys know the passives. I'm not really gonna go over it. Really strong hero. The Flame Relic, very good for controlling PvP, to drop the attack gauge on some of the bosses as well. Yeah, I still think she is the best legendary in the game. And the good thing is every single one of us gets this champion, this hero, for free in the very first stand pop, guys. Isn't that crazy? A game to give you the best legendary in the game for free. Thinking about it, I don't really recall any other game doing that, to give me the best character in the game for free. But either way, that's my top 10 best legendaries in King Arthur Legends Rise as of today, guys. As I mentioned, power creep is real. They've definitely added quite a few solid legendaries. And yeah, because of it, some other legendaries dropped out of my top 10, to be honest with you guys. But let me know what you guys think about this top 10. As usual, appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.